up with y'all, man? Tribulation in this motherfucker, Fruit in this motherfucker, aka Benevolent, as you would probably know me as. Best ISO in the game, no cap. Uh, anyway, listen. This is the ISO SG guy. Y'all been clamoring for. Know what I'm saying? But I got y'all, man. Look, listen, this is how we gonna do this. I got about 4 parts to this ISO guide that is I'm gonna have to do. I can't do it all in one video because that'd be probably an hour-long video, and neither of us want that. So this is the first guide. This is the build guide, how you gonna build your character, you know what I'm saying? The SPC, the skills, attributes, the cars, all that shit. I got you in this hope. That's how I'm finna help you with this video. But upcoming videos, you know what I'm saying, I got the driving guide, the dribble combinations, and the floor general guide. Those are parts 2, 3, and 4. I'll get to those eventually. You gotta hit a certain sub goal for those. I'll reveal those as the guides come out in the end of this video, things like that, as we keep going. But this is where we're gonna start. This is the build of your character. Alright. Not the most important part, but partially the most important part. That doesn't even make sense. I don't even know. I don't be talking in videos, you know what I'm saying? We're just gonna do what it do, see what's going on. Alright, but where you start off at, it's gonna be your SPC. Which SPC you choose to start with. That's the starting point, one of the most important parts of this. And we're gonna go through which ones are S tier, top tier, the best SGs you could ever get in the game. And then we have a viable tier list, which is like ones that they could work. They're not the best, but you could definitely make them work. You put enough work into. And then just the don't bother tier list, which is like the worst SPCs you could ever pick. Don't even bother try making them type shit. You're not gonna have a good time, right? And then all the SPCs I don't mention will be ones that you can make work, but they're not good, basically, if that makes sense, right? So let's get started. You know what I'm saying, with the S tier list. Charlotte it has the best jump shot for driving SG in the game. I stand by that. It's quick, it's hard to react to, and it's hard to catch up to if somebody's running towards you, trying to get the block on you. It releases too quick for them to react to. So I truly believe she has the best jump shot for an SG that's going to be driving, like the way I play, my play style, right? So you definitely, if you can, get that Charlotte. Not the draft one. You don't want to go draft. Get the real Charlotte. Right? The attributes and all that shit matters. And something else that a lot of people don't know about Charlotte is her driving animation is inherently different than every other driver in the game. And only one other SG has this attribute. They added it towards Eugenie, but her drive is quicker. She cups her hands, so it's harder to swipe when she's driving. It's harder to frame steal it, and it's just it's so much better than the regular drive animation, which is why she's so high on this list. You need to get a Charlotte, bro. Trust me. All right. Next up, like I kind of hinted to, is Eugenie. She's the SPC that I main right now. Her jump shot, it isn't amazing. It's kind of, depending on how you play it, you can block it from really far if you wanted to. But honestly, I like the jump shot because it just looks fucking cool as hell. But another thing she has is the drive animation. She's the other SPC I was talking about. She has the option to use that same drive animation. She's the only other SPC that has it, right? So she's up there on that list, and her transformation is borderline overpowered. So if you can get your hands on Eugenie, do that as well. Trust me, she's fire. Next up, we got Magenta. Magenta's jump shot is also one of the best in the game. She has a fade that it's just one hand, goes backwards. It's hard to react to, and her fade isn't even harsh, so you could shoot it from pretty far without it being deep. So her jump shot, she's really only here for her jump shot. Everything else is kind of just meh, but her jump shot is so OP that I had to have her up here. She's too OP. She has too OP of a jump shot to not be in this portion of the list, right? So Magenta. And then lastly, it is any 3-on-3 character that has Mika or Noah's jump shot, if you can get it on them. So you get a Mika or a Noah or any of them that just have the jump shot with them. That could definitely be viable. Mika's jump shot is one of the best in the game. Fade, hard to reach for sure. If you shoot, you got to be really close to block it. That's why it's so good. Same with Noah. Noah's isn't as deep, but I think it's slightly faster than, no, not even slightly faster. I think they're about the same. It's just Noah's kind of looks cooler. So you could make it work with either of those jump shots. But that is it for the S tier list, like the top tier list, best ISO SGs in the game. We're gonna transition over to the viable tier. There's only 4 in here. I have Selena, bit of a fade, pretty cool. Great transformation, really effective transformation. She works just well. Up next I have Luna. I wasn't a believer of Luna until my boy, you know what I'm saying, Alhamdulillah, my boy Taka, shout out to the boy, was hooping on that motherfucker for real. He made it look viable, and I'm a believer now. You can make it work with Luna. And if any of you have any questions as to why all these SBCs I'm talking about are only girls, the guys suck. I don't know what it is about the male SPCs in this game, but they suck in terms of playing ISO SG. Like when you drive with them, it just doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel as slick. You don't seem as fluid, as quick. I don't know what it is about the male SPCs, but just trust me and avoid them. Just trust me on that. There's a reason why you don't see any top tier ISO SGs use male SPCs. They just don't work. I don't know what it is. They just don't work. But anyway, moving on. The viable tier list, we had Selena, Luna. Nari is also viable. She's a bit older, but she definitely still works. Her jump shot is pretty cold, pretty clean, not too deep, and it's really her pump fake that's really effective. A lot of people jump at that little pump fake, that little fake shot she does, because it's a like 1-to-1 with the start of her regular jump shot, which is why it's so effective. So you could definitely make it work with Nari. Next up we got Yua. I used to use Yua. I don't really like Yua like that, but I know a lot of my boys in Treb use Yua, and they can make it work. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the best ones I know, Kyra. Shout her out, you know what I'm saying? She was hooping on that motherfucker. Her jump shot is a bit of a fade as well. Looks a little goofy, but it works. It works if you can make it work. But that's the viable tier list. That is all for that. Right. Now we're gonna move on to the don't bother tier list. The worst you could ever pick. Don't bother making these. Right. For ISO SG, the playstyle that I'm playing, these are not going to work whatsoever. First up, probably the worst is Breon and Anastasia. Terrible. Completely awful. Do not. If I ever see anybody with that, bruh, I don't even know what I would do, but don't do that. The jump shot is awful. You could block that shit from so far away. You do not want that. Trust me. Don't bother with that shit. Unless you're gonna like swing or something. I could see it, but this ain't a swing guide, is it? It's an ISO SG guide. You don't want that. Get that shit going. Next up, Helena. Her jump shot. I think it's impossible to shoot a 3 with Helena. I truly think it's impossible. Her little jump shot, her foot steps out as she shoots, and she ends up stepping in to shoot a mid shot every single time. But if you go and try to shoot deeper, then it's too deep because she has a fade that's really harsh for some reason. So don't get Helena. Terrible. Yoshino, in somewhat similar fashion to Helena, her jump shot, her fade is super harsh. You can't get a 3 off. You have to be like right on the line to get a 3 off, and by that point it ends up being a 2, like Helena. So don't bother with her at all, unless you're gonna change the jump shot. Do not bother with either of those 2. And lastly, any character with the basic jump shot, the little basic, you know what I'm saying, stand still, shoot the motherfucker, you know what I'm saying, you don't want that. It's a different time. It might have worked back in the day. It's a different time. The meta has changed. It's easy to block now. You do not want to use that. But that is it for the don't bother tier list. And any other SPC I have not named here is you could probably make work, but they aren't good. They aren't as good as the ones I mentioned, but they're not as bad as the don't bother tier list, if that makes sense. So if you have no other option, it is what it is. See what you could do. Alright. But that is it for the SPCs. Right, you know what I'm saying? Let me pretend I'm you, right? I just made my SPC. My Charlotte, she made, you know what I'm saying? What's the next step? I got you with the next step. Hop in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? The next thing you want to focus on is your cars. Easily you want to focus on your cars, right? And there is 2 decks that you could use. The only options that you have, right? You have either SP5, which is the one that is a lot easier to get. It's really easy to get right now, and make it a world card and shit like that. You could definitely work with that. It's definitely viable. Or you can get the end deck, Infinity on high. You know what I'm saying? I think it has a 3-point success on the offense. It's the best deck for ISO-SG. However, it is borderline impossible to perfect. You need end locks, and that costs money. And if you got the money for it, hey, go for it. You know what I'm saying? Try to get you something nice. But getting the perfect subs is such a it's a long journey for the end deck. It'll take forever. So no matter what, you should start with SP5. That's where you should always start, and it works just fine. Don't feel like you're inferior because you don't have the end deck. It works just fine. My main SG uses SP5 right now because I can't perfect the end deck. I don't know what it is. I can't get a perfect talent, so I've just given up. You know what I'm saying? I'm just on the SP5 wave, and it works just fine. You see where I'm at, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's what you want to do. And then we move over to the subs, the sub attributes. Now what you're looking for, the combination you're looking for is simple. It's only going to be one combination. Well, 2 combinations if you count the defense, but you want 4 drive and 2 success. In any combination between the offense and the talent, that is how much you want. 4 drive and 2 success. Shoot for that. And for the defense, any combination of move speed and running speed will work just fine, as long as you can get your running speed to between 240 and 250. So work around with the defense cards. See what you can get to where your run speed is around 240, 250, and the rest should be move speed, either combination. All right, so that is it for your deck. It's the same thing applies to the end deck. 4 drive, 2 success, but it'll end up being 3 success because of the main attribute on the offense card. So 4-2, and then any combination of move speed and run speed, defense. Simple, right? So you ready to go, right? You know what I'm saying? You can hop in, make your room, get your team, you know what I'm saying, ready to go, right? Hell no, nigga. Hell no. You got your cards straight, you know what I'm saying? Now you gotta get your attributes straight. So ignore this, bro. I haven't played on this SG in ages, but there's only correct answers for these, so it's not like I'm gonna give you ranges for everything. There's a couple ranges for some of them, but there is minimums that you have to hit, right? So the 3 main ones that you have to have correct is 3-point shot, long layup, and speed. Right, 3-point shot, you want it to be between 245 and 255. Anywhere between there, you're all set. Obviously, you want it to be on a higher range of that, but this will make sure that you don't miss any random ass shots, like random ass wide threes, because that will happen if you don't have enough attribute. You'll just miss some random ass shot while you're wide open. You don't want that at all. It's so irritating. So just make sure this is 245 to 255, somewhere around there. Long layup, 210. Get it to 210. Can't be anything below that. You don't have to have it anywhere above that. That gives you so much more range when you lay up, and it matters. Trust me, it matters. Get it to 210. That is a must. All right. And speed, you want it to be around 230 to 250. That's a large range. Obviously, you want it as high as possible, but you could work with 230. I've worked with 230. So around that range, you'll be just fine. I know I just counteracted myself, but honestly, yeah, 230 will work just fine if you get it in between there. But you want it higher than lower because it does affect your drive speed somewhat. Not by much, but somewhat. And every little bit you can get, you might as well take it, right? And then for the rest of your attributes, they're kind of optional for mid shot. If you take a lot of mids, you could up this a little bit, but honestly, even if you do take a lot of mids, they should end up always being open anyway, so you don't have to add anything in mid shot if you don't want to. But if you do take some a lot and you want to make sure they always go in, I guess you could up it a little bit. It's not necessary though. It's definitely not necessary. Something else you could add on to is pass. Higher your pass, the faster your passes are to your corners, the further you can pass to your corners, and that matters. You wanna be able to know how to pass. That's the last guide I'm gonna be putting out, the floor general. Being able to utilize your corners, know where they'll stand. You know what I'm saying? Tell them where to be, because you're really you're running the offense. You gotta know all that stuff and make all that stuff work. So every little bit helps. Add to your pass a little bit. It'll help you out. And then stamina. You're gonna be driving a lot if you're gonna be following my guides. It's an ISO SG style that is driving intensive. You drive a lot, and so you will need stamina. You don't have to add stamina if you're always watching it and you're kind of careful as to how much stam you use. But somebody like me and my boys always tell me I shift a lot when I ISO. But it's not always just to run, it's to get my opponent to move certain ways. It's fake outs, it's hezzies, things like that. So I need a lot of stamina. So sometimes I bust it up a little bit, help me out a little bit, and it does help. If you would like to put the rest in stamina, it does help. It just depends on your playstyle. But those are the only, 6? Those are the only 6 you should ever add anything into. Everything else is pointless. Everything else is pointless. But yeah, that is it for attributes. So now you ready to go, right? You know what I'm saying? Make the room. It's time to hoop, my boy. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you realize you slow? Alright, well now it's time to hoop, right? You know what I'm saying? Invite the boys over. You know what I'm saying? Right? Hell no. Hell no, gang. Look, you get in the room. You ready to go? Alright, so now you ready to play. Now you ready to hoop. You know what I'm saying? You get in the room, grab the ball, start driving, and you realize you can't do a lot of the stuff that I be doing. And that's because you haven't done your damn skills, my nigga. What is you doing? Slow down. Let me get your skills straight. That's the next part of skills. And I'm gonna do this in a way where I'm gonna show you all the skills that are necessary, must have, and then skills that are a little optional. You can kind of mix around with them. You know what I'm saying? And then the skills that you don't want to bother using at all, right? But before I start, slots. Get slots. Get every single one you can, because it all matters. It all matters. You need as much skills as you can use if you're a drive SG, because you got to be able to make your defender think, right? They have to not know what you're gonna do for you to be effective, right? So you need every single one you can get it. G3 slot, pretty easy to get. VIP slot, easy to get. VVIP, I think it's pretty easy to get, but it might not be for some people. I think you need 2 years of VIP to get this slot. But you could do it. Premium, easy to get, only costs 100 G cash. These 4 cost 420 each, but if you save up your event G cash, you can get these easily. I'm not gonna lie to you. And then the buff slot, these only last 30 days, but they're also pretty cheap, so you'll kind of always be buying these out, but you will need every single one. I use every single one every time I play. So that's that. And now I'm gonna show you all the skills that you must have. You don't have an option, you have to have these to ISO. All right, direct pass. All this does, it gives a specific key to your teammates that you press to pass. Q and E, those will be designated to each teammate, and this helps you not pass to the wrong person, and that might happen a lot if you're just starting. It's necessary. Get this. And the pass looks cleaner and harder to read if you're gonna pass to your corners, so it'll be easier to get threes off if you use direct pass and using just S as your pass key. Quick jumper, I feel like I don't gotta explain this too much. If you get a pass back, you want to shoot it immediately. You don't want to pause and then shoot, so you don't get contested. This is necessary. You definitely need this. Drive fake. Like I said, hey, I'm a driving SG. You need these driving skills. Drive fake, the first one, it's a necessity. Drive fake is a necessity, because if all you can do is just this, just a regular drive, your defender is going to be able to read you eventually, right? But then you start mixing in these, you get ankles off of it. Now they don't know what to do. They don't know which way you're going. And that's a skill you want to have. You want to be able to mix it up on them, make it hard for them to read you, which is the essence of being a drive SG. You have to be hard to read to be successful. So you need this. Driving cut, that is another necessity to be doing this driving thing, and all it is this. And how to activate it is, instead of holding direction key when you drive, you let go of it. Let go of it as the drive happens, and then you end up doing this. So as the drive animation starts, you let go of the direction key as it starts, and you just keep spamming the direction key as you go. That's all that is, and it makes it hard for your defender to know where you're gonna go. It makes it easier for you to switch directions. If they've gravitated towards one side, you can go the other way, and you can end up being open that way. So it's a necessity for the play style that you're going to be doing here. What else is a necessity? Non-stop pass is a necessity. Quick pass, get the ball to somebody else as soon as you receive it if you see somebody open. Necessary, trust me. Manual layup, you need this. You do not want to be laying up like this the entire game. That is a recipe for disaster. You're gonna get LR'd, which is last resistance, when they press F on you. You want to be able to pick a side and force them to pick a side when they LR to get the last resist on you, to get the contest on you. So you need manual layup. That is a must as well. What else do you need? Some people might think you need BSD. You don't need BSD. This is not necessary whatsoever. I'll explain why probably in the other guides, but it's not a necessity. This backwards dribble should be a necessity, the way I use it. But you'll find out later on in the other guides that backwards dribble, it messes up another integral part of driving that you will have to like relearn. So for the newer people, for the first guide, don't put this on yet. Eventually you will want to learn it, but just ignore it for now. Just trust me on that. Drive fake 2. Okay, let me explain what drive fake 2 is. So all drive fake 2 is, in comparison to the other drive fake, is when you drive fake, you go backwards. You go backwards now. As you see, I'm going backwards. And how this helps is you don't get bumped. It's a lot harder for you to get bumped when you're driving. So if you're prone to getting bumped a lot and you fall a lot, then I suggest you start out with this drive fake, this version of this drive fake 2. And the first drive fake, the difference is the first drive fake, you move forward. And you would ask, oh, so what's the benefits of this? The benefits of this is you ankle a lot more effectively with drive fake 1, because you're moving forward. They have to pick a direction more definitively than if you were going backwards, because you're moving forward, you're moving towards them. So you're more likely to get an ankle using this drive fake than the second drive fake. So eventually you should learn to use this one, the one moving forward, because that's how you get the most ankles. But if you're just starting out, you know what I'm saying, take this off. If you're just starting out, you can use this one for sure. It'll be a lot more safe for you. Back roll 2, you don't use back roll 1, because back roll 1 is only one way to back roll. Back roll 2 allows you to reverse. Damn, I missed. Probably because of my attributes. But yeah, you want back roll 2. It's a necessity. These are all necessities, all I'm talking about right now. SP Stam 3 and SP Run 3 are all necessities, and these are in capsules in the store. They cost a little bit of G cash, but you could use Event G cash for these. So if you just save the Event G cash, FS2's just been giving everybody, you can get these. Definitely get these. The necessities, if you can't afford them yet, you can start off with SP Stam 2 and I believe SP Run 2, which is in the store, and they cost $350 each. Not much, a lot less than what you would be paying for the SP3, but it's a good starting point. Just have a variation of these SP Stam and SP Run. It'll help you out a lot, trust. Quick Change 2 is a necessity, and I'll explain why. It's because when you're scoring, and for example, you don't have the ball, the corner has it, and you're trying to get the ball back, they pass it to you, and you're here. The PG is gonna end up being right here, and they're gonna swipe as soon as you receive the ball, and you can't do anything about it. They're gonna get the ball once they swipe. So all Quick Change does is, as soon as you receive the ball, you go one direction. I don't have anybody to help me show this, but you receive the ball, it'll dash you to a different direction so they can't swipe you as soon as you receive the ball. Right, and that's very helpful. You want that on there. It's a necessity. You gotta have that on. You have to learn how to do it as well. So it might take a little bit, but I'll explain how to do skills in a later guide. And then you want side step back. And this is, if you play it against you probably see me use it a lot. It's R. You hit R and go backwards, just like that. And the benefits of this is to create space a lot. You want to learn how to do it because it's gonna be a big part of your game eventually, as you're learning to play ISO SG like I do. Yeah, that's a necessity. You gotta have that on there. So these are the only skills that you have to have, and that's already has taken up so much room. What is that? 8? I'd say 11 spots. That's a lot of room. You starting to see why we need all these slots. It's all gonna be necessary. But alright, I'm gonna move on to the skills that are kind of optional. Mix and match. You could use whatever variation you want depending on your playstyle. You could use jump pass. This is if a lot of defenders like helping. Jump pass to your corner, easy 3. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't like this skill, but it's pretty effective if you use it really well in your play style. So jump pass, definitely a skill you could use. Double clutch, you get last resisted a lot, saves that for you. You don't gotta worry about it too much. Floater, it's a hard shot for your defender to cover because they're also worried about threes. So if they're not directly in front of you guarding this floater, it's gonna go in, or it should go in, because sometimes floater misses randomly because you don't have enough success for it. So it's a hit or miss. I don't really use it anymore, but you could make it work if you wanted to. You can use intercept defensively. They have a bit of defense, you know what I'm saying, so you're not like just a pole on defense, you know what I'm saying. You could help out. You might be able to get some. It's harder to get intercepts as an SG, but if you can get it, you can get it. If you get good at it, you might get a couple stops for your team. Nothing wrong with that. I don't use it, but I don't use it because I use so many other skills. I can't have this on, but it's definitely something you could do. Same with dive and catch. Help your team out get loose balls if need be. Not a necessity, but If it helps your team up, you could slot that on. It could work just fine. V-cut. V-cut is good if you're trying to receive a pass and the PG on you is spamming intercept. V-cut gets you open. That's all you gotta know about that. I don't really use it anymore, but it could definitely still help. Spin move layup. People sleep on this move. I'm not gonna lie, it's not that bad, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the way people play now, it's not that easy to what's the word? It's not that easy to blast resist anymore. So it's another method of scoring tools if necessary, right? That'll work just fine. Same with Euro step. Oh, pass fake. You're probably gonna put pass fake here. I'm gonna be honest. I still have pass fake on even if I don't use it that often. It's a good bailout. It's good to have the skill. Euro step. Just demonstrated. I think most people know what this is, but for the newer people, you know what I'm saying? That's what that is. Nice little move. Easy to get the little tool. You know what I'm saying? And you could also mix it. Dry fake, you know what I'm saying? But that's dribble combinations. That's another guide. I'm moving far ahead of myself, you know what I'm saying? Don't worry about that right now. But Euro step, great skill. You could use that as well. Back dribble. Don't put this on yet. It's such a good skill. Like it's half of my game at this point. You get so many angles from it, bro. It's such a good skill, but the thing you have to change when you use it is such a big change that it's going to fuck you up. So don't put this on yet. Master everything else and then put it on. Alright, and then try working with it. Alright, but eventually I'll explain how to use that. SP middle shot. You don't need this. But if you take a lot of mids, then you do need this because you need the success. Otherwise, you're gonna miss random ass mid shots. So, mid shot tool, something you could use. Talked about all these, and yeah, that is the rest of it. Honestly, you can mix and match. Like, so you can't have all of these that I just mentioned. If you could, I would have them all on, but you can't, and you have limited slots, which is why you have to pick and choose what you want. Those are the ones you kind of mix and match with. Right, now let me show you the skills that you don't want. They don't help you whatsoever. Shoot fake drive. It's not a good skill if you're driving SG because if you pump fake, you're gonna get swiped. It's only good if you're gonna like chuck or something like that, right? But we're not chucking. We're not pussy ass niggas over here. Saying we be hooping for real. We drive for real. We drive to get our shots. Manual block defensively, it doesn't do anything for you. I'll be honest with you. You don't need that whatsoever. Pull up jumper sucks. I'm gonna stand by that. It's not gonna help you with. It hasn't helped me. I'll just put it that way. And if you're learning from me, you're gonna have to trust me. Pull up jumper is not it. Just don't use that. Jabs for chuckers. Don't need that. Tripping prevention. This stops you from falling sometimes, but you really don't need this. You'll get good enough to the point where you don't need it. I've never had to use it actually, so just don't. You don't need that. You don't need that. Drift pass, actually a good skill, but it's similar to backwards dribble in a sense. It fucks up a lot of other things for you. So it's something you have to get used to. I haven't even gotten used to it yet. It fucks up too much for me to get used to it now, which is why I'm not using it. So I'm gonna just say pass on this for now, but if you can make it work, you could experiment, you could make it work, then it might be a good skill. I know some people in Trib that use the skill. It's a great effect. I just can't do it yet for some reason, so that I'll leave that up to you. You could decide, you know what I'm saying? Experiment with that one. Steal defense pass. If you get stolen, there's a chance you just pass to somebody close by to you. You don't need this. It'll just take up slots, and this is you basically admitting the fact that you're gonna get stolen. You can't have that mindset, so you don't need this. You don't need this whatsoever. But that is it for skills. There's some I haven't bought, like these right here. You can take a look if you want to. You don't need any of these whatsoever, so don't even bother. Except this, if you wanted to, save money and shit. But you don't need any of those. If you're gonna intercept, I guess this could help, but that's taking up so many slots that is it really even worth it? You know what I'm saying? So don't worry about the rest of these. They all suck. We'll move on to mastery. There's only 2 variations of this tree that you're going to have. You're either going to, and the only difference is this first slot. That is the only difference. Everything else is going to be the same, right? So you're either going to have defensive move speed, which is what the majority of you starters have to start with, and I'll explain why in a second. Side hop step, this is going to be the same in either variation. Spin drive, get some mids, you know what I'm saying? This one you're not going to have either of those. They take away too much attributes. And this first one right here, and I'll explain what everything does. Defensive move speed makes you faster on defense, gives you more move speed by a lot. You move a lot faster on defense. And I mean, obviously you're not a defender, but if you're guarding a playstyle like Dash, this helps immensely with that. And if you're intercepting, it also helps cover the floor a lot better. So it's actually really good to use. The reason I tell you to use this if you're starting out is because this is hard to master, and this is what I use right now. This is a variation of fancy drive but it's not randomized. It's something that you choose which fancy drive you're going to use when and where, but it's hard to master, especially if you're starting off or if you're in your early phases. It's not something you want to mess with so early. Focus on this later on in your ISO SG journey, right? And I'll explain how to use all this stuff in later guides, stuff like that. Sidestep, I feel like I don't really have to explain this. It's an OP move. It's great for people that play your sides. Just move to the side, sidestep, and you could things you could do, man. You can combo certain moves. This move right here is really effective. You know what I'm saying? But again, that's later, guys. We're not gonna get into that. Spin drive, all that is spin drive you're more likely gonna use it to get to the mid, to shoot a mid, especially if it's a defender that's playing really close up to you. You're gonna get open doing this. Some variations of it, if it's a really, I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of the sauce, you know what I'm saying. If they are ultra aggressive ass PGs and you pull them back here and they're right here, spin drive to the 3. They can't catch up to that. It's really difficult to catch up to that unless they're looking for it, and if they know you're gonna do it, they're gonna back up. You know what I'm saying? So this is a really good skill to have for aggressive PGs, which is why you have to have it. This is what you're gonna go with. These 2 take away too much, and then this, what this does is, if you remember the sidestep thing, right? This is me pressing R, and what that does in the mastery is if you press X, then it combines the side hop step with the back row, and it's faster than a regular back row. This is a regular back row, and then this is the hop step back row. And if you hit C, then it does the reverse version of it, just like that. Creates a lot of space, hard to react to. Pretty OP, but if it's a defender playing super close to you, it doesn't work as well. Nonetheless, it's a really good skill to have. Eventually you learn to use that, but this will be a mastery. This will be a mastery. Alright, so you all ready to go, right? You got your skills, you got your attributes, you got your cards, you got your SPC. You know what I'm saying? It's time to go, right? It's time to go. Nah, my boy. Nah, look at, hold on. Look at my character, gang. You know what I'm missing? Drip. I'm missing drip, my nigga. Hold on, I got you. Listen, listen. This is something a lot of people don't understand. Half the game of ISO-SG, driving ISO-SG, is mental. It's all mental. There's times when my mental isn't straight and I play like complete dog shit, and then there's times when my mental is straight and I cook everybody. And that's not an exaggeration. I cook everybody, right? And part of the mental game is confidence. If you feel like if you hop in a game, right, and you match up against this really good PG with a really good defense, right? And you're thinking, oh damn, he's gonna lock me up. He's going to lock you up. This sounds goofy. This sounds like I'm just making shit up, but I'm so dead ass. It happens. That's how it is. If you feel like you're gonna get locked up, you're going to get locked up. You gotta get your confidence straight. How do you get your confidence straight? Drip. Not entirely, right? But it plays a part. You get your drip straight and you look clean, you're gonna feel like that nigga. You're gonna feel like you're gonna kill anybody. It's over with, which is why it matters how you look. And obviously it's a little subjective as to what drip is to you, and that's what it is. That's why it works so well. If you think you look good, then you're probably gonna feel like you play better, right? It matters. So I don't really use the Charlotte anymore, but this is the SG I use now. Raylan, Eugenie, clean as hell. You know what I'm saying? Look at the drip, my boy. Look at the drip. You know what I'm saying? Clean as hell. You got the shit matching and shit. I feel like I'm that nigga on her. I feel like nobody could stop me on her. And before I forget to mention, what comes with drip is also attributes, right? You buy the attributes for it, and that also helps with your attributes. I mean, most people already know that, but I figured I'd mention it anyway, right? Get your drip straight, feel confident, add a little bit of attributes, and you're set. You're all good to go. You get every single bit of this done, you great to start. But keyword in that is start, because that's all this is. This is a start. The rest of the game, the rest of playing ISO-SG is incredibly difficult to master, especially against the PGs that play these days. Super fast, super long range blocks, Mickey ass defense. They start guarding your back. That's how effective this play style is, but it's gonna take work. It's gonna take a lot of work and understanding the way I play. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Even if you watch all of these guys, there's a large chance you don't play like me. It's just not going to happen. The one thing I've learned is that everybody that tries to play Drive SG, they all have their own style, and it's like small little differences. They all play completely different. So don't strive to look just like me. Strive to find your own play style. I'm just gonna give you the tools to do that, right? This was the first guide. This was your build. You know what I'm saying? The next guide is gonna be the driving guide. How to drive, how to read your defender, how to force your defender to go one way so you could go the other, how to ankle defenders, how to utilize certain skills to put you in positions where you could echo those defenders, things like that. People think I just do whatever when I ISO. I overthink literally everything about ISO-SG. I played this shit for how long? What is this? It's about to be a year, right? Yeah, it's about to be a year. I've been grinding this shit, and I don't press random keys. It's all by design. Everything I do is by design. I do it on purpose, and I do it by reacting to my defender. It's not just moves that I know how to do. You gotta see your defender, see what you gotta do to get past your defender, and do it. That takes a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? So that's the end of this video. You know what I'm saying? Like up, sub up. You know what I'm saying? But this next guide, y'all gotta hit 200. I ain't gonna lie to you. Y'all gotta hit that 200. I ain't even too crazy, is it, right? Y'all get hit 200. Hit 200, I get the next guide out. But other than that, that is it for me. I will catch y'all boys. Deuces.